Hello, everyone, and thank you for stopping by the Alabama Woodsman. If this is your first time here, I hope you can get something from my video, something from my channel. And if you're a return viewer, you're obviously a glutton for punishment, and I appreciate that about you. First off, happy birthday, sweet 16, to Lexi Schumacher, Gary's daughter. Happy birthday, Lexi. Hope it's a very memorable one for you. I'm sure it's going to be one your dad will never forget. Listen, folks, we're going to do something that Drew Bloom asked us to do, and that is to watch a video. Now, he put out this video right here and exposed some of Julie Green's lies. And he told us, he said, look, you watch the video and see it. And that's what I did. And so I have compiled a list of prophecies from that video. Almost everything in this video is from that the prophecies is from that video. There are a couple that are not from that video. I will list Drew Bloom's video below in the description, and I will list the original Julie Green Bo Paulney video where I got this information from in the description. And then we're going to get you a little present towards the end of the video. I'll give you a little present, a little something I'm going to do for you. All right, folks, what I want you to do is to show this video. Let me explain something to you. Subscriptions are fine, okay? I appreciate all the subscriptions. But the subscriptions is not how you play the YouTube game. YouTube has set it up where it's the views. It needs to be shared. So if you have someone that loves Julie Green and fights you tooth and nail, just ask them to defend these accusations. See if they can do it. Maybe get with them, watch it with them, and just discuss it calmly. I don't go Sicilian in this because I don't want people to just automatically turn it off and say, well, I don't have to listen to him because he's not doing it in love. Okay, this is very factual. I can prove everything that's being said, mainly because it came out of her mouth and Bo Paulney's mouth. So, folks, let's start the video. These are some prophecies that were to have been accomplished, fulfilled before the end of the year 2022. Julie Green prophesied on January 21st and then again on February 9th that Barack Obama will be exposed as running the country from his basement. Now, everyone has suspected since Biden got in office that Obama was really the puppet master pulling the strings and getting his third term, as he said it. But there was no official exposure. The news didn't break on mainstream media or even Fox News, but there was no official exposure that Obama is running the country from his basement. The prophet Julie Green prophesied on January 28th of 2022, the world will see Trump's return to the White House in 2022. Folks, this was supposed to be done supernatural. We'll see in some other prophecies that she made later. And it just didn't happen. The prophet Julie Green prophesied on January 28th of 2022. New Trump return and inauguration in 2022. We see that didn't happen. The prophet Julie Green prophesied again on January 28th of 2022. Riots will fill the streets due to Trump's 2022 return and inauguration. Folks, there were no riots because Trump was inaugurated in 2022 because it didn't happen. The prophet Julie Green prophesied again in January 28th of 2022. Trump's return in 2022 to power will come sooner than you think. Now, all this was supposed to happen before the end of 2022. And here in January, she's saying it's going to even come sooner than you think. But in 2022, it did not happen. Julie Green prophesied on January 28 of 2022, Trump's return in 2022 will bring restoration to our land, which would be the United States. Folks, the Lord was supposed to restore our land through Donald Trump in 2022. Or if you read it the way she said it, Donald Trump was going to restore our land. Except it didn't happen. The prophet Julie Green on January 31st and then again on February 4th, 2022, said, Joe Biden, you are finished. Admits Obama is the president. This is your great fall. You're finished. This goes along with her January 21st and February 9th that it will be exposed that Barack Obama is really running the country, and it didn't happen. Okay, so this next one brings up a little topic that we need to talk about. When people talk about a whirlwind or a fall or something like that, it can be interpreted any way the prophet wants it interpreted. I mean, if I say a whirlwind is coming to Washington, D.C., that could be a tornado, okay? That could be political change. It could be a scandal. It could be anything, okay? As long as it metaphorically fits whirlwind. Now, we don't normally say whirlwind, but that's what's in the Bible. We say tornado. But if you say tornado, you kind of box yourself into a natural weather occurrence versus the metaphorical, it's a whirlwind, so it could be anything. It could be some bad news for the president, or it could be some good news for the president. It could be anything. So the prophet Julie Green on February 4th of 2022 prophesied that Chuck Schumer will fall on live TV and never get up. Folks, he was supposed to fall on live TV. Now, that could be anything. That could be a tremendous gaffe, or that could be a literal trip and fall. And he would never get up. So this fall on live TV could be something that ends his political career, or he is no longer alive because he didn't get up. Except on February 4th of 2022, when she prophesied this, the year 2022 closed and this didn't happen. The prophet Julie Green prophesied on February 4th of 2022. Madison Cawthorn was to walk out of his wheelchair having all things restored. He was going to be miraculously healed and be able to walk in 2022. However, on the contrary, he suffered exposure of a scandal sexual in nature. One of the worst things that you can do is have Robin Bullock pray or prophesy peace and safety over your country, because like 7 or 9 months later, Israel got attacked, its worst attack ever, after he prophesied peace and safety. And now Julie Green on February 4th of 2022 prophesied that Cawthorn would walk up out of that wheelchair, except he suffered a tremendous political scandal, sexual in nature. Folks, you don't want these people prophesying over you, because it always goes in the wrong direction. So you'll see a pattern in these dates, the things that she's saying. She becomes repetitive a little bit. So we've seen people falling and not getting up. The prophet Julie Green prophesied February 4th of 2022, Kamala Harris about to fall and never get up, to be tried for treason. This is your end. Okay, well, let's look at the way she said this. She said that the Kamala Harris, and I say Kamala because I just like it sounds better than Kamala to me. I like Kamala. I really don't care what her name is. That's just the way I'm going to say it. Kamala Harris is about to fall and never get up. Well, this seems metaphorically, because later in the prophecy, she says that she'll be tried for treason, and that would be her end. Well, Kamala has not fallen. She is now risen to the Democratic nominee for the presidency in 2024, and she was not tried for treason. And it looks like if she becomes president, she won't be able to be tried for treason until she's out of the presidency. And this was not her end. She did not end her political career, or she did not become unalive in 2022, which means this prophecy didn't happen. Now, let me say a little something about the elections this year. Donald Trump is about to be sentenced for his conviction on September 18th of this year, just right before the election. Now, you can say what you want to. Okay, hypothetically, it was designed this way to keep him out. We really don't know that he's going to be sentenced to jail. According to Amanda Carboni, he is going to feed the world some shut-up Jews, okay? Without saying it, basically, she's saying he ain't going to jail, all right? From what I understand, his case could be totally thrown out. or he could be sentenced to a jail term. Now, if he is sentenced to jail and he must report to jail immediately, or let's say within 30 days or whatever, can he still run for president from a jail cell? Can we still vote him in as president? I don't know the answer to that. I've not studied it long enough or enough to know the answer to that. However, if he is sitting in jail, I would doubt he would make the presidency. However, there could be a boomerang effect. And because the people see that it is alleged that he was railroaded, it may have a boomerang effect and more people vote for him while he's sitting in jail. Folks, we don't know what's going to happen on the 18th. If he goes to jail, who is the Republican nominee? Do they even have somebody waiting in the wings? We don't know. And if they've not played it right, the Republicans could be shut out totally. Now, what's going to happen if that works that way is Kamala is going to walk into the presidency almost unopposed. It's not going to be a contest. And you can bet that as she becomes president, they will take the House and they will shore up the Senate. She'll have all three. Folks, that would be, in my opinion, disastrous for America. We can't do 4 more years. Now, the last thing I'll say, I got a lot of people saying that they're not going to vote for Trump. They're Christians. They can't vote for Trump. That's your right, okay? I'm not going against your right. I just ask you to think about it this way. I'm voting for a president, not a preacher, not a savior, not a King David. I'm just voting for a president. And I'm looking at what he did economically the last time he was president. He has done some flip-flopping, but I'm going to have to, as they say, hold my nose and vote for President Trump because I cannot vote for Kamala. I just can't do it. And if I don't vote for Trump, it's an unchallenged vote against Kamala. Folks, she'll walk in. Once again, I'm not faulting anyone for saying they're not voting this year, or they're going to vote for Jesus, or they're going to write in somebody else. I'm not faulting you. That is totally your right, and I respect that. But just realize, if you don't vote for Trump, what you're doing is you are giving Kamala Harris an unchallenged vote, because her side's going to come out and vote. And then there may be some other things going on in there that I'm not allowed to say on YouTube. It's up to you. We get the government we deserve. And more than that, we get the government God gives us. And it could be that America is done, need to stick a fork in it. And we'll know if it is because, in my opinion, if Kamala is elected, we were judged in 1962 when we took prayer out of schools. And it's just now about to fall. That's just my opinion. The prophet Julie Green on February 4th and then again on February 15th of 2022, Chief Justice Roberts to be removed from the bench for blackmailing others. Chief Justice Roberts to this very day is still the Chief Justice Roberts of the Supreme Court. He was not removed, and nothing even broke as far as exposure about him blackmailing other people. Folks, this prophecy didn't happen. The prophet Julie Green prophesied on February 7th of 2022 that Attorney General Barr will be exposed for backdoor deals. Now, we need to talk about this for just a second. Expose, that word. That's another word that prophets use that can be anything. It could be the news media breaking the story, which is the way I take exposure, that it will be common knowledge through the media that Barr supposedly has been making some backdoor deals. What politician in Washington, D.C., or for that matter at the state level, doesn't make backdoor deals? Folks, backdoor deals is not even automatically illegal. I've actually seen backdoor deals done in a courtroom when I was a lawman. So we have exposed in the news media, but you have to understand too that exposed could be God telling one of his current day prophets what happened. She didn't say what happened. She was very generic in it, okay? But that's how the word exposed can be a literal exposed in the news media, or if God reveals it to his prophets, because they always say God does nothing before he shows it to his prophets. He reveals it to his prophets first. Folks, there's context in that Bible verse. That does not mean it goes for today. But he's supposed to be exposed for his backdoor deals. Folks, this did not happen. So on February 7th of 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesied Donald Trump will sound retroactive restoration in the land. Now, that goes with an earlier one that says he's supposed to restore the, restoration of our land back on January 28th. So January 28th and February 7th, once again, she's doubled down prophetically that Donald Trump will sound retroactive restoration. Folks, what is retroactive restoration? Is it going to go back in time and restore what has already happened in the past? What is retroactive restoration? Back then, for some reason, Mike Pence was also prophesied the same thing. The prophet Julie Green on February 7th of 2022 prophesied Mike Pence will sound retroactive restoration in this land. Now, it was about 20 months later he ended his campaign on October 31st of 2023 because he was just a train wreck in front of the camera. He said something so stupid that when I was watching, I said, oh, his career is over, and it was. Unfortunately, I can't remember what he said. I thought it was something about having to go to war with Russia, and yeah, we're going to go to war with Russia if I'm the president, something like that, but I can't remember exactly what it was. It was in an interview. I think he was sitting on a stage in a chair. If you know what it was, put it down in the comment. Folks, Mike Pence sounding retroactive restoration in our land did not happen. And this shows that once again, if she prophesies something good for you, something bad's going to happen to you. Folks, on February 7th, and then again on the 11th of 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesied Nancy Pelosi to be ruined politically and become unalive. Now, we need to talk about something in this prophecy because it relates to other prophecies as well. So when this prophecy was given, it was in 2022, before the midterms, Nancy Pelosi was to become unalive. And she's still here with us. Now, what they will say, okay, the people who believe in these prophets will say what their prophet has told them, oh, this is not the real Nancy. She really did become unalive. This is a doppelganger. This is an actress that has moved into her role. Well, that poses a problem. I've often thought about this, and it makes my eye twitch sometimes. So Nancy Pelosi is judged by God, and God makes her unalive. And then the very next morning, okay, let's don't even say the next morning. Let's say it happens on a Friday, and she doesn't have to be, before people again for the whole weekend. Within a 48-hour period, another person comes in, steps in, looks like Nancy, talks like Nancy, votes like Nancy, makes money on insider trading in the stock market supposedly like Nancy, does all those things, and this person is such a good actress that when she stands before Rand Paul or Ted Cruz or any of the other ultra-conservative congressmen, they can't tell after working with her for years that this is not the real Nancy. And what happens is this actress comes in, she picks up exactly where Nancy left off and never skips a beat. Folks, what's the purpose of unaliving Nancy if another person is just going to step in and do the same things she's doing? There is absolutely no reason to unalive Nancy. But either way, this did not happen in 2022 or by the end of 22. It was supposed to happen at the midterms, and it didn't happen. On February 7th and then again on the 11th, the prophet Julie Green prophesied Mitch McConnell will fall politically and never get back up. There will be justice because of the acts against children and Epstein Island. Time is over, tried for treason, and his life is over. Folks, in 2022, Mitch McConnell did not suffer a political disaster. It doesn't seem that what she calls as justice against the acts or for the acts against children didn't happen. Nothing with Epstein Islands happened. We don't even really know who's on the list, and I thought that was supposed to be released by a judge. It was released, if I understand right, and it's just not happening. His time is over. Well, he's still in the Senate. He's minority leader in the Senate. Tried for treason. He was not tried for treason in 2022. I don't even know what the treasonous charges would have been. I've kind of lost touch of politics a lot after starting my YouTube channel. And his life would be over. He's still living large, folks. This prophecy didn't happen. On February 8th and then again on February 15th, the prophet Julie Green prophesied, "Charles, you will not get that crown. No matter what, Big Ben will be your sign." Folks, I need to explain something to you. Now, and Drew Bloom explained this, but I'm going to put it in Woodsman speak, okay? When the Queen died, the second her last breath was taken, when she became unalive, Charles became the king, because the land cannot go without a king or queen. It's designed that way. It's been that way for thousands of years. It's not like our presidential inauguration where the king is appointed king, but he's not really king until he's coronated. Okay, like we have inaugurations. She tried to use the coronation like an inauguration, and it doesn't work that way. He became King Charles immediately. And if you look at their news media, which I did, he was being called King Charles as they were announcing the death of his mother. Charles was also to be stripped of his power. He was supposed to be nothing. He was supposed to be exposed. Something about letting his brother Andrew take a fall for Epstein Island or something. That never happened in 2022. And today, Charles is still king. He still has his power. And no one from Epstein Island has been brought to legal justice. There's some people who have been brought to moral justice because they are no longer with us. But that's another story, folks. This prophecy didn't happen. February 8th of 2022, Adam Schiff removed from Congress, forced to apologize to the nation and admit Trump is the rightful president. Now, if you watched Drew Bloom's video, like I've told you you need to do, you will see that basically these are all prophecies that it seems the prophet Julie Green is venting on. This is her venting her anger at our government and the players in our government. This seems to be the venom coming from her own heart, because as we can see so far, none of this has happened. Now, Adam Schiff prosecuted the new David, President Trump, might as well be the king, prosecuted him. And so Julie is a little upset at this, but he was supposed to be removed from Congress in 2022. In 2022, he was supposed to had been forced to apologize to the nation and admit Trump was the rightful president. Folks, none of that happened in 2022. It didn't happen. The prophet Julie Green prophesied on February 9th of 2022, Michelle Obama would be exposed for what was done for money, power, and how much she hates the USA. Michelle to take a bigger fall than her husband, President Barack Obama. Now, there's some stuff that's been out there for years about who Michelle really is, and you can make up your own mind on what you think about that. However, by the end of 2022, Michelle Obama was not exposed for what she did for money, power, and how much she hates the United States. Now, I will say it is my opinion, it is my political opinion, it is my First Amendment right to express said opinion, that Michelle and Barack hate the United States. That is not a secret, because as he was campaigning and what he ran on was remaking America. Folks, you have to look at the words remake. America is already in existence. So to remake it, you got to tear it all down and then you remake it. He didn't say rebuild. He didn't say repair. He said remake. So I have no doubt that they hate the United States the way it is today and want it done the way they want to do it. And it would seem that he's doing a pretty good job, because we all know that he is one of the mid-management puppet masters in our government. It used to be the Clintons, and then they fell from power, and now it's the Obamas that run the presidency in the White House in Washington, D.C. But Michelle was not exposed in 2022. This prophecy didn't happen. On February 9th of 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesied Liz Cheney to be tried for treason and she would become unalive. Folks, this was back when Liz Cheney was giving Donald Trump the business. I mean, the January 6th serious business. She was supposed to be a Republican, but we know that she was a rhino, Republican in name only. This is some more venom being vented on Liz Cheney. Folks, Liz Cheney in 2022 was not tried for treason, and she's still walking the earth, breathing air. Folks, this prophecy did not happen. On February 9th, the prophet Julie Green prophesied Ilhan Omar fall for treacherous act of spying. So Julie feels that Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is a spy for her country, and she was supposed to take a fall for spying against the United States. Folks, that did not happen in 2022. This prophecy didn't happen. Okay, folks, once again on February 9th of 2022. Maxine Waters exposed and removed from office. She will become unalive and be sentenced to the lake of fire. Okay. Listen, Maxine is one of the people that I like the least. It would appear, hypothetically speaking, it is rumored that she has funneled money to her daughter, campaign dollars to her daughter, and government money, your money, to her banker husband. And that's just, to me, that's just unethical, but that's just my opinion. Everybody has an opinion, and I have the First Amendment right to express it, so I will. But folks, Maxine Waters was not removed from office in 2022. She did not become unalive in 2022. And because she is still living, she is not in the lake of fire in 2022 or even now. Folks, this prophecy didn't happen. Also on February 9th of 2022, Bill Clinton will lose everything: his power, money, and influence. He will become unalive after being exposed for what he did to children and perversions. All right, folks, and this was supposed to happen by the end of 2022. He was supposed to lose everything. Well, he's not lost everything to date, let alone in 2022. He was supposed to lose money and influence and power. Look, they lost a lot of power when the Obamas hit the ground running. Lost a lot of power and political clout when she didn't achieve the presidency. But he has not lost everything: power, money, and influence. He is still with us. He's still alive. He did not become unalive. And as far as being exposed to what he allegedly did to children, no one on Epstein Island has been exposed. And his perversions, look, he's notorious with his perversions. I have a story I tell, and I can't say a lot of it here because it'll get censored. But let's just say that when I was a SWAT team leader, I took my assistant team leader to Meridian, Mississippi, to a SWAT school. It was actually, I think it's actually termed a high-risk warrant, serving high-risk warrants. They couldn't call it a SWAT school, but that's what it was. Teach you how to, set up a raid and all this kind of stuff. And so my buddy wanted to go out and sample the local bar. This used to be a heavy military town, if I understand right. But either way, so I was the designated driver, and I'm shooting pool. There's hardly anyone in the bar. I don't know what the deal was, but anyway, there's these two guys in suits sitting up at the bar, and my assistant team leader goes and starts talking to them. Well, I'm not in the drinking scene. I'm just going to shoot pool, and then I'm going to carry him home so he doesn't go to jail while we're at a school. And he comes to me. He says, "Hey, Sarge, come here. I want you to meet these guys." And they were two Secret Service agents. I said, "Oh, really? You guys are, with Secret Service?" He's like, "Yeah. And they're look, man, they're pounding them shots." And they said they were going to another school that Meridian, Mississippi was putting on. So we started talking, and he says, my buddy hits me, "Hey, Sarge, man, these guys were in the White House during the Clintons." And I was like, "Really?" And they just kind of looked at me like, "Yeah." And they said, "Oh, we were just there for a couple weeks, and we wanted a transfer." Now, I can't tell you exactly what they saw, but they were humiliated by the Clintons, Bill and Hillary. And I'll just put it this way. The guests that were there visiting Bill Clinton Let's just say Hillary was nowhere around where Bill was. Bill had some friends there, and those friends were scantily clad, and they were humiliating the Secret Service. And then I was told that on the floor underneath in the White House was Hillary's little play area. She had the same type people there. Read into that what you will. I'm trying to be careful. Now, this is a conversation I personally had with these two agents, but I cannot prove or verify that their story is true. So even though the conversation was true, the accusations may need to be qualified as allegedly. Folks, the perversions of Bill Clinton, the alleged perversions of Bill Clinton, is notorious, okay? It is no big secret. But they were not exposed in 2022, and he still holds power, and he is still breathing air. This prophecy didn't happen. February 9th, and then again on the 16th of 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesies, Hillary Clinton will never be president. Her emails will be exposed. There'll be video evidence revealed, and she will become unalive. Folks, in 2022 or by the end of 2022, well, you know, she will never be president. Well, 2022 was not an election year for the presidency, so, okay. The emails were not exposed. They just weren't in 2022. There was no video evidence related to that. And she's still with us. She's also breathing air to date. Now, listen, the Clintons are dug in like a tick in Washington, D.C. The Obamas run it, but the Clintons are still some power brokers there. However, in 2022, this prophecy did not happen. February 10th of 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesies Chris Wallace to suffer a major fall and not survive. Now, that could be political, that could be in his business, that could be in his physical body. We don't know what that means, mainly because it didn't happen. Let's see, suffer a major fall and not survive, be exposed and will lose everything. He will be embarrassed and ashamed. Folks, none of that happened in 2022. The major fall, it didn't happen. He did leave Fox News. I don't know exactly when the date on that was. For some reason, I'm thinking it was before 2022 because of the 2020 elections, the way he handled his part of the debate. Let's see, exposed and will lose everything. Chris Wallace has not lost everything. He will be embarrassed and ashamed. Well, that's a matter of opinion. But this did not happen in 2022. All right, this is one that Drew showed. February 10th of 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesies Rachel Maddow to be tried for treason, and it will be the end. Rachel Maddow in 2022, or by the end of 2022, was not tried for treason, and she is still a political pundit. And, once people saw kind of who she really was, she lost some viewership, but she's still a political pundit with some power on the left. Folks, in 2022, this prophecy did not happen. February 11th, 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesied, Bill Gates will be stripped of his money and power. He will lose his ability to breathe air, let's just say, and he will fall like a trapped fly, okay? So Bill Gates, before the end of 2022, was supposed to be stripped of money and power. He was supposed to lose his ability to walk the earth, eat, and breathe. He would be pushing up daisies, we'll say. And he was going to fall like a trapped fly. Now, you're going to see some more of this trapped fly speak. It's almost like she gets a little catchphrase, and then she uses it a couple times, and then she gets another one. Just my opinion. However, folks, in 2022, this prophecy didn't happen. Bill Gates is still powerful, and he is shaping the last world government as we sit here today. Also on February 11th of 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesies George Soros to fall like a fly in a trap. Remember, I told you she kind of gets on this catchphrase and she uses it over and over and over. George Soros was to fall like a fly in a trap. Folks, George Soros retired exactly when he wanted to retire. He handed everything over to his son, who supposedly is worse than George Soros when it comes to his politics, as far as being, to the left. So he did not fall, and he did not fall like a fly in a trap. I don't even know what that means. I can only assume that that statement is made to humiliate George Soros. I don't know any other reason to say it like that. But it didn't happen in 2022. Folks, this is another prophecy that did not happen. The prophet Julie Green prophesied on February 15th of 2022. Brian Kemp, life as you know it is over. You'll be tried for treason. Folks, no one was tried for treason that we know of, on this list in 2022. But he was supposed to be tried for treason. Folks, this did not happen. The prophet Julie Green prophesied on February 15th of 2022. Brad Raffensperger, you're on audio and videotape. All will be exposed. He is finished. Look, old Brad supposedly did something, and he's been caught on audio and videotape, except it wasn't exposed. We don't know what this could possibly be, according to the prophet Julie Green. This prophecy didn't happen. Now, this is kind of weird, but also on February 15th of 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesied, Stacey Abrams is on video and audio tape and will be exposed. She is finished. Well, that sounds like what Raffensperger, his prophecy. Folks, Stacey Abrams, I'm just going to call it, one day she will be governor in Georgia. She's not going to quit. And pretty soon, Georgia is going to totally flip to blue and come out of the purple state, and it'll be blue. And she will one day be governor. So she's not finished, all right? She is still a powerhouse in her own right. It's just she's just not in the news. You don't hear a lot about her anymore. But she's not going to give up because she has the support, allegedly, of the Soros empire. It's just a rumor. Who knows? Folks, this prophecy didn't happen. The prophet Julie Green prophesied on February 15th of 2022. Eric Adams, who is the mayor of New York City, will take a fall and not get up. Now, remember, this is a vague prophecy. It could be a literal situation where he falls and he becomes unalive and he doesn't get up. Or it could be a family issue that destroys his family. Or it could be a political issue that destroys his political career. But once again, we see that if a prophet like Julie Green or Robin Bullock prophesies something over you, pretty much the opposite's going to happen because he won his re-election. He is still the mayor of New York City. Folks, this prophecy didn't happen. All right, folks, on February 15th of 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesied, Gavin Newsom, the world will see you fall, exposed for your heinous crimes, exposing finances and the money that he stole. I'm going to say allegedly stole. This is her words, not mine. The money that he stole. Folks, there has been no exposure for any heinous crimes from Gavin Newsom out there in California. His finances, I have no record of being exposed in 2022. And as far as his alleged theft of money, there's no record, no exposure in 2022. Again, this prophecy did not happen. Again, on February 15th of 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesied, Governor Kathy Hochul, she's New York governor, to be removed from office in 2022. Once again, 180 degrees in the opposite direction happened. She won her 2022 re-election, so she did not take a fall. She was not removed from office. In fact, folks, she won by 10.4%. That's like political landslide area nowadays. Nowadays, if you can win by 1 or 2%, you're sitting good. Folks, she won re-election by 10.4%. 180 degrees in the opposite direction that the prophet Julie Green prophesied. Folks, this prophecy did not happen. And then on March 13th of 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesies, your rightful president, meaning Trump, will be returned to power sooner than you think. Okay, she did it earlier, I think in January or February. She's doing it now on March 13th. She's doubling down. He's going to be returned earlier than you think. He was supposed to be returned to office supernaturally by God before the end of 2022. This prophecy didn't happen. So we had the March 13th saying President Trump would be returned sooner than you think. Then the next day on March 14th, she prophesied again, March 14, 2022, Trump will return to the presidency, taking back what is already his. Folks, this prophecy didn't happen. So just like she prophesied on March 13th and 14th, we have another one, March 16th of 2022. Trump will come back with God doing it all this year, meaning 2022. Folks, it didn't happen. Now, on March 17th of 2022, the prophet Julie Green prophesies a Carnival cruise ship will be stranded in the open water. Folks, it didn't happen. There, you cannot find a single news article, blurb, anything, okay? You could probably even talk to Carnival and they'll tell you it didn't happen. And we know that that's a newsworthy story because if you get a cruise ship with 8,000 people on the cruise ship and they're stranded in the middle of the ocean in open water, that means that they've probably lost power, which means they've lost water and the ability to do food and stuff like that. A cruise ship, specifically Carnival, okay, losing power in the open water is a serious issue, and it is always newsworthy, but it didn't happen. The prophet Julie Green on March 17th prophesied, the great exodus, freeing all nations and the globe, happens by the end of 2022. And this exodus is bigger and better than Moses and Pharaoh in Egypt, that exodus. Now, I've been hearing this Exodus talk, but I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to Julie Green anyway, because Drew and Gary do such a good job exposing her that once they've said it, I really don't have a whole lot to say. I'll focus on somebody else, mainly my hometown heretics, Timothy Dixon and Robin Bullock. But I had to get with Drew and say, what is this Exodus they're talking about? Folks, everything is supposed to be Christian utopia. The biggest exodus, the Christian utopia, freeing all the nations and the globe, okay? Well, if you think about it, what she just told you, the Christian utopia known as the Seven Mountain Mandate, folks, that was supposed to happen before the end of 2022. We were all supposed to be free of the sinful government that we're under, the sinful culture that we're under, education, entertainment, everything, all the seven mountains. We were supposed to be experiencing the great exodus, and it didn't happen. Now, we saw earlier in January and February. But again, the prophet Julie Green on March 30th, 2022. Yes, a Trump inauguration in 2022. Countries around the world will celebrate. Folks, Drew Bloom pointed it out in this video that I will have linked below. The world celebrated nothing because Donald Trump was not inaugurated in 2022. Folks, this prophecy didn't happen. So I saw this prophecy in a repost. Someone hijacked the prophecy or the video, and they took it to their channel and they did some stuff to it to get past copyright or whatever it was. And so it was reposted on August the 2nd of 2022, which means it was prophesied before August 2nd of 2022. The prophet Julie Green said, I've heard from God and he boldly told me Trump returns in 2022. This was on Clay Clark's show. Folks, she said it point blank. I've heard from God, and he boldly told me Trump returns in 2022. You can't get more, thus saith the Lord, than God boldly tells her something. Except, folks, I don't know who told her this, but this prophecy did not happen. Okay, in another hijacked video, it reposted on August the 5th, which means it happened sometime before August 5th of 2022. Julie Green says, 100% stop talking about 2024. Trump is coming back this year without a shadow of a doubt. The Lord told me there will be a new government. She said this on Dave Scarlett's show, His Glory. And as Drew pointed out in the video link below, this didn't happen. She's saying 100% without a doubt, the Lord told me. I don't know who she's listening to, but folks, it didn't happen. All right, Gary pointed this out in his last live stream, I believe. In 2022, at some point, now this one did not come out of the video that I have linked below. Tulsi Gabbard was to become a Republican. She did leave the Democrat Party, but she went independent. Folks, almost prophecy is not prophecy when it comes to God. The prophet Julie Green in 2022 said that she would become a Republican. It didn't happen. Now, this also is not in the video that I made reference to below in the description. Gave you a link. The prophet Julie Green in 2022 said a 5-star general would retire soon. However, the United States has not had a 5-star general. I think I saw something since 1953. There was a 5-star general and he retired. He died in 1981. 5-star General Bradley, I think was his name, Omar Bradley. But the rank of 5-star general was retired and done away with in 1981. So I don't know if the whole 1953 with Bradley is actually true or not. There's a lot of stuff there to sift through. But we do know that in 1981, that rank was done away with. There has not been another 5-star general since 1981. That means there's not one in 2022 who was supposed to retire soon. Folks, in 2022, the prophet Julie Green said the wealth transfer will come before the end of 2022. And Bo Paulney backed her up on it. Okay, that is in the video, I think, that I referenced below. And then the last one, the one that just really tickles me pink, is in 2022, the prophet Julie Green said Herschel Walker would win his bid for Congress out of Georgia. He was not elected, folks. It didn't happen. It would seem that once again, if Julie Green prophesies something positive over you, the opposite, the negative, is what's going to happen to you. I don't want her to prophesy anything over me, unless it's something really bad. She can prophesy something bad over me, and I'll be okay with it. Folks, like I said earlier, 99% of these prophecies, 99.997% of these prophecies came out of one video, this one right here. Watch the video. It's linked below. Watch Drew Bloom's video. It's also linked below. Folks, I want to know how people can look at these prophecies and tell me that Julie Green is a prophet today. She is one of today's United States prophet, Julie Green. Tell me how you can support her in this. See, folks, the video is still up as of the time I'm making this video. It's still there on Rumble. And as Drew Bloom pointed out, that they don't care to take it down because they're going to get mileage out of it. They know that their followers don't care about past prophecies' inaccuracy because they're looking forward to tomorrow's prophecies. Some people would say sorcery, fortune-telling, horoscope type prophecies. Either way, I think I have proven using her own video and Bo Paulney's own video that she missed all of these prophecies. Folks, it's very clear. You cannot be a prophet of God if you're not accurate, because that would mean God is not accurate. She, as a prophet, is only supposed to say what the Lord told her. And in all these prophecies, if the Lord told her that, then the Lord's a liar. Now, I do have some opinions on the great deception that I'll probably share later, okay? That there is some Bible support for God using deception, and he could be deceiving Julie Green to make her look like a fool. But that's just my opinion. You don't really have to believe that stuff. Oh, by the way, the little surprise that I said I would give you, everything I just read to you, if you will look and go beyond in my description, beyond how to donate to my ministry, Boots on the Ground, Protesting Prophets, and my social media, which I hardly don't ever use that stuff. I just wanted to grab the name so nobody else could, and I could use it in the future. If you go below that, it'll say thank you. Below that, once you get past thank you, all this is going to be in the description. So all you have to do is cut and paste it wherever you want. Now, I'm going to put my name on it. So if it comes up wrong, it's not on you, okay? It'll just say, as appears in the Woodsman's video, whatever, like that. You can even take that out if you want to. I don't care. The important part is the word needs to get out. But I'm going to put that in there. So if something goes, kind of weird, goes cattywampus or sideways, you can say, well, I don't know. That's the Woodsman's video. I was just telling you what the Woodsman said to relieve you of any, stress or of, something not being just exactly right. But it's there. All you have to do is cut and paste it. Cut and paste it and put it on your YouTube channel if you want to. Cut and paste it and put it on your Facebook or your Twitter or your Instagram or whatever social media. If you go to the comment section, cut and paste it in there if it'll fit. They have limited characters. Cut and paste it in chat rooms. Whatever you want to do, it's there for you to use and get the word out. Folks, that is the video. And now I'm going to find an aspirin.